Pnawn da bawb a chroeso mawr, a very, very warm welcome to you to this third of the Big Ideas Wales Enterprise Troopers event, Croeso Mawr. Now, if you scan your Zoom tools and you can see interpretation, please go and look for those who don't understand Welsh. Please tick on or click on the English button because some of this event will be in Welsh and some will be in English. Please tick on that now and then I'll just check that everybody can hear what's going on. Ac felly, fe na I ofyn, ydych chi'n ynglywed i, ydy popeth yn iawn? Dwi ddim yn gallu gweld yn sgrin iawn. Rhowch eich bawd electronic i fyny i ddweud os ydych chi'n clywed i'n iawn, efo popeth yn iawn, gyda'r cyfieithu ar y pryd. Ydy popeth yn gweithio? Pawb yn clywed yn iawn? Gwych, diolch yn fawr iawn i chi. As I said, I will be going from one language to another, but it's really important that you can use the language that you want to if you want to talk verbally with us today. Wel, Glenda Jones ydw i, fel y gwelwch chi, Glenda Jones Cym, mae'n dweud ar y sgrin. Dwi'n un o fodelau rôl syniadau mawr Cymru, ac wrth fy modd yn bod yn un o'r rheini. A dwi wedi tystio i waith y criw mentris ers sawl blwyddyn bellach. A dwi wrth fy modd yn bod yn rhan o'r cyfan. Ond mae'n braf iawn iawn hefyd i rannu hyn gyda chi. O beth da ni'n mynd i wneud heddiw? So, what are we going to do this afternoon? You've had your invitation and the welcoming page probably on event box. So, before we go any further, can I get all of you in, seeing more and more participants coming into this room as I speak? What's the aim of today? Well, let us know what your expectations are. What are you hoping to gain from today? And I'll keep an eye on that chat function now. Please put in whichever language you prefer, beth ych chi'n gobeithio I gael heddiw? Anything coming in on chat now? Sometimes these comments come in like buses, do they all arrive at the same time? So I'm keeping a close eye on my chat function. It's all very quiet at the moment. Neb yn dweud, some new and different ideas. Thank you, Tom. There's nothing better than get somebody to respond. My husband once told me, and he used to be a teacher, give people 20 seconds, but 20 seconds on Zoom feels like ages. Some new and different ideas. Diolch yn fawr, Tom, am roi hwnna. Thank you for that. I'm sure, feel free to add that into chat as the afternoon progresses. Wel, beth da ni am wneud? Wel, mae'r pnawn yn syrthio I ddwy ran yn benodol. The first part of this afternoon is going to be presentations and hearing more about the recently published statutory guidance on careers and work-related experiences. Yn dilyn hynny, byddwn ni'n canolbwyntio ar gystadleuaeth y criw mentris ar gyfer 2022, a fe gewch chi ddyddiadau pwysig iawn gyda ni maes o law. Fel o'n i'n dweud, os ydych chi'n siarad Cymraeg, rhowch enw ar ôl eich enw fel mae o ar yn enw I fyna. Ewch a'ch eich enw ar Zoom, ewch i'r tair dot fach yna yn y gornel dde, ail enwi, rename mae'n dweud, rhowch ac felly, os dyn ni'n gwybod bod chi'n siarad Cymraeg, allai siarad yn Gymraeg yn ôl â chi, ond dewis chi yw hynny. But now let's go on to the main themes of this afternoon. And the first part, as I said, now we had an event last March, was it? We had an event last November. And in that event in November, we played a video which touches on what we're going to do today. And you're going to hear much, much more about it, but not from me, from the experts, giving you details of recently published statutory guidance. And look at the resources available for you as well. But also remember, towards the end of this part of the afternoon, there will be a Q&A session. So please don't be shy in asking questions. Ond gadewch I fi gyflwyno'ch hunan felly, I cyflwynwyr cynta ni. I now want to introduce you to Julianne Clifton and Geraint Evans. So Julie, I think we're starting with you. Over to you, Julie.
Thank you so much, Glenda. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just going to share my screen so you can all see this presentation. Please tell me if you can see that presentation. I'm sorry, it's not on the first slide. Things go so smoothly, don't they? Okay. Is that okay, Glenda? Can you see that?
Yes, I'm seeing it fine here. Thank you, Julie.
Let me just click on that one because that'll make it a lot easier. Okay. So as Glenda very kindly introduced me, I work for Careers Wales. My name is Julie Clifton, and I'm part of the CWRE, or Careers and Work-Related Experiences Curriculum Development Team. And as part of that team, there's 8 of us that cover the whole of Wales, looking after all of the secondary schools, special schools, FE colleges. And then moving forward into the future with the Curriculum for Wales, we are actually, engaging with primary schools as well, like yourselves, in sessions like today. So we are looking for, opportunities to engage with primary schools a lot more in the future, which is really exciting to be part of. So thank you for having me today. Okay. Just looking at the overview for the session, seems to be a lot on the slide. Please don't worry about that. Literally, we are going to go through everything on the slide, and we're just going to sort of give you a little bit more information about what you can expect from the CWRE statutory guidance that's been published by Welsh Government. And then you should hopefully, by the end of the session, have a better understanding, maybe where to find more information, what that might mean to you as a school, and it might mean something completely different to your school than it might to the school next door. So this is about you taking away some tips and hints, I suppose, of ways that you can start to embed careers and work-related experiences in your curriculum in your school. So I hope it's useful. Okay, so building the skills, knowledge and confidence of education professionals to deliver an effective careers programme. So what does that actually mean? So what we're trying to do in situations like this today is to give teachers and SLT in schools the confidence to actually go ahead and start thinking about careers and work-related experiences and what that might look like to you in your school or setting. So that's going to depend on quite a few different things and factors. We are not in a position to actually state to you of what that should look like. And that's really down to the guidance that's been published. And I think that's a really useful thing. So what we can do is to listen to what you tell us. And sort of later on in the Q&A session, you could be telling us information. That's our opportunity to hear what you're saying. So please engage in that. And if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask anything. But also it's about us sharing opportunities to enlighten people and give best practice ideas. We're quite early on in the process of obviously moving into the Curriculum for Wales. So we are trying to establish some useful and meaningful partnerships with primary schools and start to understand how primary schools are actually going about embedding CWRE. Okay. So the statutory guidance itself. So 10th of January this year, the Welsh Government published what we call now the statutory guidance for CWRE. So what you will find when you go onto the Welsh Government guidance documents, whether that's on Hub or the Welsh Government website, you will see the statutory guidance is embedded within the usual guidance that you would look at for Curriculum for Wales. So anything that mentions CWRE is statutory guidance, effectively. It's all embedded within. It's not a separate document if you were looking for one. And essentially what they tell us, or tell everyone, is that we should be paying due regard to careers and work-related experiences. Now, the question mark, I suppose, is what does due regard mean? So from our angle, what we would say is to give some guidance to schools on what that might look like. We've started to look across Wales for some examples. Like I said, we will show you a video at the end of this of one way that a primary school in Wales has started to do this. And that might resonate with some of you, and that might make some sense, you know, of the situation that we're in. But what we would say as a top tip would be, if you are going to try to embed CWRE in your design of your curriculum, you could put CWRE at the centre of your planning. That is one way that you can make a start. And just by that one shift change, you can change the way that you think about careers, and also the way that your pupils will receive information about careers and work-related experiences. Okay, so there's some ideas here on the slide about, obviously, CWRE is a cross-cutting theme. Yeah, that means that it goes across all 6 areas of learning and experience. It's not just sitting within one. And it also means that teachers are in a position where they are actually expected to pay due regard and to think about careers and work-related experiences. It does actually supersede, like it says on the slide, it supersedes the Careers and World of Work framework document that was published in 2008. So if you are using that document, it would now be the time to move over to this new guidance that's been published. So why is careers and work-related experiences important even? Okay, so some of the main points that we wanted to get across today was that it can develop an understanding of the purpose of work, and we can start that dialogue really soon. 3-year-olds can have that dialogue. It would just look different to maybe what a 16-year-old would have. It can actually help pupils to become increasingly aware of the range of opportunities available to them. It can develop attitudes and behaviours, which is obviously something that's really important in the curriculum for Wales. It can enable pupils to explore more opportunities, and it can also develop resilience and the ability to be adaptable, which are really key transferable skills for the world of work. Okay, so 5 aims of inspirational CWRE. What would we aim to get from a school that had an inspirational CWRE program, if you like, or they've embedded CWRE and it's working really well for them? So they might look at ways of exploring themselves and society as a whole, and they link quite well with the 4 purposes: widening horizons, overcoming barriers. Now, these can be carried out in many, many ways. You don't have to necessarily, as you'll know yourselves, be delivering a careers lesson whilst trying to achieve these aims. You could be doing something completely different, and overcoming barriers is one of the hurdles that you experience, and you can bring it back to CWRE in focus at the end of that lesson, potentially. It also gives pupils an opportunity to explore a wider range of opportunities, but also ways that they can join the world of work and sort of entry routes in. So, for example, we would look at, say, apprenticeship routes and, you know, employment opportunities, but also, you know, the higher education, the further education. There's a wide plethora. And again, this can be a dialogue that can be happening in primary schools. Okay, so I'm just going to move on to the English version here. So the 4 purposes, CWRE and the 4 purposes. So we wanted to talk to you a little bit about how CWRE can fit into the 4 purposes. And what we wanted to do was to take a look at the 4 purposes, but through a CWRE lens, if you like. And that's what this is. That's what this looks like. So ambitious and capable learners. So that would be learners who aim high, embrace learning, and actively build their careers, if you like. And this is just one take. You could have a completely different take on this. Enterprising and creative contributors. So learners that create opportunities and they develop the skills that they need for their careers. ethical and informed citizens of Wales and beyond, learners who prepare for careers that will have a positive impact on their culture, their community, the society and the world. And healthy and confident individuals. So learners who experience personal growth and they strengthen their well-being and personal agency as they build their careers. So hopefully that gives you a little insight into how CWRE can fit within the 4 purposes. And like I said earlier, if you put CWRE at the centre of your planning and you move outwards towards the 4 purposes and you use this sort of effect, you might find that you've already got plenty of CWRE activities and thoughts going on that you can start embedding further. Okay, so the role of CWRE in supporting the skills that are integral to the 4 purposes. So this just gives you a diagram, if you like, a visual of what that might look like. Yeah, so this presentation will be available at the end. So I'm just going to, we're quite tight on time today, so I'm just going to speed through these slides. Integral skills, creativity, innovation, critical thinking, problem solving. Yeah, all of the things that we and employers tell us are really important for pupils moving into the world of work. But obviously these need to be built on, these need to be developed, and that would start in primary school. So that's why it's really, critical, I suppose, that that dialogue starts happening as early as possible. Okay, so CWRE in areas. So there needs to be a thought process around what your design would look like. And when you're doing that, there's also some other things to consider. So you need to explore the progression pathway. So what does that actually look like if you're putting CWRE at the centre of your planning? When you're looking at progression, how can your pupils progress by using CWRE, if you like, as a theme, a topic, whatever that might look like? Also recognising the relevance of learning and the examples from careers that you might be exploring, for example, say, could be anything, could be the public sector, for example, some of the roles that exist in that. What are the value of the qualifications? Are there any role models that you can draw from that can contribute to further embedding CWRE? And moving on, talking about role models, there are people who exist already that you have in your sort of presence, the governors, the SLT. You may have a CWRE leader or coordinator within your school. If you do, you're very fortunate in a way, because anyone with that focus, even a governor with that strategic focus, can enable the design process and actually the embedding process of CWRE as well. You could have parents, carers, employers from the local community or wider, who could all be contributing to your CWRE provision. And also you might work with local employers and stakeholders to get them to come in to talk to the pupils. You might do, you'll see later in the video, how one school have utilised some of their local employers to come and do sort of like a speed dating careers fair, if you like, in a world of work format. So yeah, there's some really interesting ideas out there. Touching quickly on the toolkit, so we now have a published CWRE toolkit and toolbox. The documents look a bit like this. They're on the Welsh Government website. They're also on our Careers Wales website, which my colleague Geraint will explain a bit more about in a second. So just to give you an idea, if you are looking to start embedding CWRE in your school, then these would be the go-to resources that we would ask you to look at as a starting point. The toolkit in particular is your first point of contact. The toolbox is full of resources that could support you in embedding CWRE. So that brings me to a close on the slides. Our email address is on the screen here. So if you did want to contact one of us and ask any questions, or you had some good examples that you'd like to share with us, then please do get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. Like I said, we've been starting that process as this year's gone on, and we would like to engage with a lot more primary schools. So, please get in touch. I'm now just going to stop sharing, and that's going to give me an opportunity to ask Adam to play the video for you. And once the video is played, I'll pass on to Geraint, my colleague. Thank you so much for listening. I'm just going to stop sharing.
In spring 2019, I undertook an audit of our curriculum provision against Curriculum for Wales draft documentation, and I noted that among other aspects we needed to include more enterprise within what we were currently providing. This curriculum audit coincided with a critical collaborative professional inquiry project that I undertook with EAS and the University of Stirling, where the focus of the inquiry was how could we encourage children on their journey towards becoming enterprise and creative contributors by looking at people voice and how we could engage them in leading their own learning. The key research paper which resonated with me at the start of this inquiry was Paradigm Shift, Fostering an Entrepreneurial Mindset in Schools. The key focus of this was promoting student autonomy, project-led learning and a global outlook in order to prepare for the future. Through the reading and from seeing a video during a professional Leeds cluster meeting where we talked about careers of the future not currently existing, we decided then that it wasn't just enterprise we needed to focus on with our pupils, but developing this entrepreneurial mindset. So this is really where our work-related education came in, and we sort of shelved the idea of careers per se, and we looked more at what skills children needed to develop them for to develop for the world of work, rather than just looking at the enterprise aspect. So this then became a renewed focus for our project, and we needed to equip the children with skills that could benefit them in any field of work, whatever they decided to go into when they were older, these transferable skills. So the next steps then were to ensure that all staff understood the focus and the purpose of what would then become our summer term project. I wrote and led training for AOLE teams, and in those sessions they read and synthesised the research that I had previously read and that had motivated me to follow this project. And then we planned ways forward. It was really important that all staff understood what needed to inform future developments. So following these meetings, it was decided that a whole school innovative topic would be the best vehicle for developing an entrepreneurial mindset and to prepare pupils for future careers. A whole school topic World of Work was planned, whereby children would be introduced to different careers and then create products relating to these careers to sell in the school fete to incorporate the enterprise element. To get start the topic, I planned a whole school session whereby all children had to consider what they would like to be when they grew up and then create a painting. These paintings were then displayed all around the school. We had a huge art gallery where every child from the school walked around to see what other people wanted to be when they grew up as well. After this, pupils then created a survey outlining what they wanted to be when they were older, the skills they thought they'd need to do that job, and then any experiences and knowledge they would need in order to achieve those goals. The survey was then analysed and pupils were grouped within departments, so lower key stage 2, upper key stage 2 foundation phase, and then we synthesised the broad categories of career choices. A challenge was set to them whereby they were encouraged to set up a Dragon's Den style event where each world group would go and pitch their ideas to the dragons, and the dragons were in charge of overseeing the financial aspects, the costings and the feasibility of each group's products that they were going to make. If their costings weren't feasible, they were told to go back to the drawing board, find cheaper materials, sourcing things from different places as well. Because of CWRE being such a cross-cutting theme, it's not enough to do it once in a 2-year topic cycle. We have to take and sustain that practice throughout everything we do. There were challenges in a school this size, there are always going to be, and also, from an innovation point of view, there are going to be stages along the way where things don't go as planned. But again, if as adults we are modelling and explaining this to the children, this will set them in good stead for the world of work in the future. So we are modelling real life experiences for real life future practice and future careers.
Thank you for that, Julie. I'll just share my screen now, and I'm going to spend some time just to show you and talk you through our website so you can access more information and resources to help you embed and realise CWRE within your curriculum. So this is our new website. We've had a website for nearly 20 years, but in the last year or so, it has been revamped to make it more user-friendly. So it's a completely bilingual website, so you can change the language at the top. At the top, you can contact us with any queries, have a look if there's any events going on that we're organising that you could attend. And there's a news function there of things that updates on what's going on. It's also possible to use the search box function here to type and look for whatever information that you want. At the top here, these tabs, the website is divided into these tabs, but these are also sort of repeated down over here. I'm going to concentrate a bit more today on the education and teaching professions section, the new section here. Before I move on to there, I'd like just to point out the My Future section. This section is specifically for ALN learners, but there are some more basic information there. So the basic versions of job information and the buzz quiz, which I'll talk a bit more in a minute. There's more basic information that might be more suitable for some of your learners as well there. If I click on the education and teaching professions, so this section is divided into various schools and settings. And if you scroll down, there's some more useful information there as well. Today, because we're concentrating on the primary sector today, I will show you the primary section of the website. So here, the primary section, the information is divided into 3 sections. So careers in the curriculum, primary resources, and employer engagements for primary schools. The careers in the curriculum first will give you an overview of CWRE, and there'll be links to tools and professional learning resources that can help with realising and embedding careers within your curriculum. So if I start off by clicking on that. So there's general information here. And if scrolling down, there are links to playlists or online learning modules that we produced over the last year, specifically for teachers to help you with all of this. There's one specifically for primary teachers. There's one for head teachers, governing bodies, additional learning needs, but also a generic labour market information resource there. Now, if I click on one of them, I'll click on the primary teachers just to quickly show you. That will take you to Hub, and you can then launch the PL either in English or Welsh there. You can choose the language and click launch, and then that will open the professional learning module for yourselves. So if I scroll back, scrolling down here, this is where you will find more information about the statutory guidance and the toolkit and toolbox that Julie mentioned early on. There's a section there for governors as well. So if you have any governors who take a specific interest in CWRE, then there's some more further advice there that you can point them towards. But if you wanted more information about the statutory guidance, this section will briefly just tell you a bit about it, and there is a link there that will take you directly to GenHub, but to the specific part of the guidance for the Curriculum for Wales that's specific for CWRE. Going back, I'll look at the careers and work-related experience toolkits. As Julie mentioned early on, the toolkits are housed here and there are links to them there. So by just clicking on the toolkits, this resource is there. It's free to use. It's there for you to use when and if you need it. It's not mandatory, it's not really prescriptive, but it will give you guidance about how the planning side, realising it, assessing the quality of your provision and managing self-assessment. And if I just show you the toolbox has different resources and templates that might be useful for you with all the planning and assessing. So you can click the forms and download the forms there and use them or adapt them, use them the way that you want them and when you want them. Again, if I scroll, click back, and now show you the primary resources. So here we have a couple of resources that might be useful for you. So Careers City and Careers Craft. Well, Careers City is an engaging and easy to manage resource that raises awareness and understanding of the work people do across different sectors. It's linked to the 6 areas of learning and experience, and the link, and you can have there's a link to it if you click on this, again, to the resource, which again is housed on Hub. So there's different sections there that you can download and launch, an introduction to it, suggestions for use, a map, discovery map that you can use and that you put up on and display in your classrooms. So it might be worth having a look at that. Clicking back then to Careers Craft. Well, this is our award-winning interactive resource that encourages learners aged from 8 to 13 to learn about careers in specific sectors and industries in Wales, and maybe develop their skills and discover more about their strengths and interests. All Minecraft users can sort of play Careers Craft through the Minecraft marketplace by clicking on the link here. But it's also available through Hub, and a special version with lessons and resources also available through Minecraft Education Edition. So the Welsh Government made this available to all schools learners in Wales, so they can be accessed via the link here in Hub.
Geraint, can I interrupt you there?
Yeah.
Was there many more resources you were going to show, but I'm keen to make sure that we've got time for some questions from people as well.
Yeah, I'll just quickly go back just to explain here. There is the Buzz Quiz and Who Am I quiz there, personality quiz that you can use with your learners. The Who Am I quiz is a more basic or a version of the Buzz Quiz aimed for additional learning needs, but it can be used maybe for the lower, younger children in the school. There's some information, general information about jobs there. And if I just, and there's more links here and links to Hub, where on the Hub, all our resources will be in one place there. So that's a quick sort of guide, quick look at the resources, but we do keep developing them. And if I just stop sharing now, I can't see how to stop sharing. Stop. Has that gone? Or can you still see my screen?
It's still on my screen, Geraint.
Geraint, it was at the top of my screen to stop sharing.
It is on the top. Resume share, new share. And it's disappeared. It's disappeared there. So I'm sorry about that. Oh, stop share. I can see it now. So,
Hey.
So that's really a quick one, but we keep developing things there. So it might be worth them to going back and having a look to see what's new there.
Diolch yn fawr iawn I ti, Geraint. Wir yn gwerthfawrogi rhwng y ddau ohonoch chi fanna. Da ni wedi cael y cyflwyniad i'r cefndir a manylion am yr arweiniad ei hun, ond hefyd yr adnoddau a'r toolbox. Dyna'r gair Cymraeg gorau am toolbox, box tools gorau i'r athrawon sy'n yma heddi i gymryd ato i edrych am, achos o Tom Roberts yn dweud ar y cychwyn, mae eisiau rhyw syniadau newydd a gwahanol, so hwyrach fod rhywbeth fanna. But I also asked you if you wanted to ask some questions, so feel free to ask any question now. Nothing has come in, but I've got a question. And if I could ask you, I'll go back to Julie, I think. What about special schools? How do the changes to careers apply to them? Is it any different?
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's fine, Glenda. No, it's no different. So the guidance is what it is, and it can be interpreted and differentiated down to and up to whatever that might be for your school or setting, which I think is quite interesting in itself.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a shift change from what we've had before. On the website, like Geraint showed, there are plenty of opportunities to use some of the ALN resources that are there. So if you do have, a special school or setting that you're working within, then yeah, absolutely, go to our website, have a little route around. When you go on Hub as well, if you type in the search bar at the top, Careers Wales, it should bring up everything that we've ever published on Hub. So it's an easy way to find everything. And on there, you will find things like, ALN resources, My Future resources.
Great. Thank you. Well, any other question? Oes na gwestiwn? I'll keep to English so that the translator doesn't work non-stop, going from one to the other. Any other question from you delegates out there? But what I would urge you, if you do think of a question, because Geraint and Julie's sequence is coming to an end now, but even if there are questions coming up on chat between now and the end of this call, please feel free to put them there, and then we can respond to them. And I was talking earlier about possibly we could do a frequently asked questions document on Eventbox for you to feel that you're having your questions answered. There's nothing coming in on my screen, but is it me and my screen's not working? I can't see anybody. If there is, please shout it out. Na, mae'n dawel ma pnawn ma. Dim cwestiynau, dim byd. Diolch yn fawr. Diolch yn fawr, Julie and Geraint. I'll let you take a break now. And we will move on to the second part of this afternoon, and enough from me. It's the Enterprise Troopers competition. And what I want you to see, it's a lovely little sequence coming up now from the schools that did take part in the past and in the most recent past. Let the children do the talking. 2 films, Ysgol Idi Hwsn, and you'll see it's raglen after that. Okay, gadwch ni weld y fideo.
Ydy criw mentrus o Ysgol Idi Hwsn. Da ni wedi bod yn meddwl am syniadau.
Dwi'n meddwl bod yn digon o sioe, oi, oi. Dydd mewn siwt a chwt ag y glaw. Capsabal o cysgidiau glaw.
Dyn ni'n hoffi haen. Ydym wedi penderfynu gwneud dalw y hael. Rwan rydym angen edrych a phenderfynu pa un i wneud. Dyma ni'n edrych a faint mae'r pethau am gostio ni i brynu a gwneud dalw y hael. Rydym wedi penderfynu gwneud y un yma.
I tarw yn sy'n brysiau fel fynd â ni.
Y sgiliau technoleg. Bod yn greadigol. Cydweithio dda. Dim problemau cwrdd. Cael pobl tu allan o'r ysgol yn rhan o'r prosiect. Meddwl mwy gwyrdd.
We would like to introduce Raglan's Virtual Christmas Fair 2020.
The global pandemic wasn't going to stop us.
We have a positive enterprise attitude like me.
Awesome time at Raglan means one thing: enterprise!
The face to and overcame many challenges. We did advertising, market research, and all of our initial pitch digitally. And produced an online catalogue. We designed and made these products.
Reception made baubles with reindeer food inside. Year 1 made tea towels and wooden decorations. Year 2 made table decorations made out of natural materials. Year 3 made napkin rolls out of toilet paper. Year 4 made lanterns out of glass jars. Year 5 made recyclable gift tags. Year 6 made wiring around Christmas trees.
We did everything in our bubbles, meeting COVID-19 guidelines.
Our enterprise raised £1,160 for the school. Great! Yeah!
We will see you next year.
We love enterprise! Make sure you share all of your important information, like how much money you made. And how you overcame any challenges. But most of all, have fun! And we need enterprise to promote us!
Diolch yn fawr iawn fan'na i Ysgol Aidi Hwsn ac Ysgol Raglan. A dwi'n cofio gweld rheini'n cystadlu am o'r brwdfrydedd yna yn dod nôl i'ch atgoffa chi o be mae'r bobl ifanc ma'n gael drwy gystadleuaeth felly. A mae o yn ffitio fewn yn aml iawn gyda'r hyn glywon ni'n gynt ar ddechrau. Datblygu meddylfryd arbennig yw ondife ymysg y bobl ifanc yma. Well, I'm going to shift to English now because I want to prepare you for the panel of people who have experienced this. No, they're not teachers. As far as I know, I don't think any of them have been teachers. But during the course of the Enterprise Troopers competition across the years, there have been some fundamental people involved in it. And I want each of them to say a little bit about their impression of this competition. Now, I sound as if I'm presenting strictly, I wish. The judges, I'm going to introduce you to the judges. And the first judge, ar beirniad cyntaf, ond na, nid beirniad yw e. Fe yw'r Claudia Winkleman y gystadleuaeth yma. Chris Jones, mi wyt ti wedi bod yn rhan o'r gystadleuaeth yma ers blynyddoedd yn cyflwyno. Felly, dy gyfle di i gychwyn, beth yw dy brofiad di o beth yw'r argraffiadau sy'n sefyll allan?
Diolch Lena, fi'n sicr ddim yn athro. I am definitely not a teacher. I have the greatest respect for all teachers. So, diolch yn fawr ti. Dwi'n lwcus iawn i wedi bod yn rhan o'r gystadleuaeth yma ers rhai blynyddoedd. Dwi'n meddwl bod fi wedi beirniadu cwbl o weithiau, but it's mostly been as a host, compere, presenter, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, face-to-face in all kinds of locations, but recently, of course, we've done a hybrid version of it. I am very, very privileged to be part of this. I am also a role model with Big Ideas Wales, and it is amazing to see all these ideas over the years. Now, how have they changed? Well, Glenda, I think they have changed, actually. Mae'n wedi newid tipyn. They have gone from purely money-making to more of a social conscience, social enterprise kind of idea, I suppose. Obviously, with the environmental theme, the green theme coming in more and more and more. I remember very clearly, actually, the ones that took part in the Cymraeg building quite a few years ago. At almost every idea, almost every school had an environmental green ethos, if you like, not just about making money. The things that I've seen, we would look at are ideas that stand out. Now, it is difficult. There are no new ideas, just sort of new versions of old ones, as it were. But it's very difficult. But I'm presuming that judges, and I certainly as a host and the front man, if you like, always look out for something that stands out. It's a little bit different. It's so nice to see genuine interest. Amser mae'r plant yn actually cymryd diddordeb. A chi'n amlwg gallu gweld bod na angerdd. They've got this passion about their idea, that they've put some time and effort into the research of it. I love the inclusivity, beth yw nhw'n Gymraeg, dim syniad, or the inclusivity that everyone takes part. I know there are some, children obviously more confident than others, but it's so nice to see maybe the shy little boy or girl actually taking part and standing out. And there is an award, isn't there, for crew mentress, by the way, Seren, the Star Trooper Award, So it's so nice to see everybody taking part in their own bits. It's nice to see, obviously, again, presenting variety, not just talk. Some do raps, some do singing, some do poems, but it's nice to see a bit of graphics, a bit of video, and the fact that they've all engaged and they're all taking part. And this entrepreneurial spirit will shine through. For me, it's great to see a certain Welshness as well, because at the end of the day, this is the Enterprise Troopers competition here in Wales. Ma' na rhywbeth ynglyn â'r Cymreicdod sy'n mynd I sort of dod trwyddo'r syniad ma sy'n great. Beth sydd wedi sefyll mas? What stood out? Well, it's been a while. I mean, things have changed so much, obviously. I remember the Senedd, we had it, the Doctor Who exhibition, I'll never forget, because it was amazing. The finalists took part in the Doctor Who exhibition, which is no longer there, I don't think, is it? It's no longer there in Cardiff Bay. A fi'n cofio o'n na ysgolion o'r Gogledd, o'r Gorllewin, o Bowys, o Sir Benfro, oedd rhai nhw ddigon wedi boed yn Gaerdydd o blaen. The fact that they were there in this amazing location, that was a standout day for me. It really, really was. The excitement of all the children, well, not just the children, the staff as well, and seeing all these, fantastic schools, and they all had their ideas, and they're all so excited to be in that amazing location. And there is a tension. Yes, these are primary school competitions, but oh my word, there is a tension. There's a tension on stage for me, never mind anything else. But the school, you can see their little faces and the staff. They are so excited for their school to be called out and named as either a winner. But Glenda, as we say, everyone's a winner. Everyone's a winner. That's a Hot Chocolate song, but everyone's a winner taking part in this Enterprise Troopers, a crew mentors. Bob blwyddyn, yr un peth.
Diolch yn fawr iawn I ti, Chris. Wyt ti di ail-gyfleu'r cyffron a'n fendigedig fyna. Dwi'n cofio'r Doctor Who experience. A tro nesa na, o'n i'n yr un adeilad, o'n i'n wisgo'r orsedd, be mae hynna'n dweud amdana I gwyd. Beth bynnag, thank you very much, Chris, for giving us that flavour, that excitement. Now, our next judge, who has been judging for a few years and on a few occasions, it's aptly that Chris mentioned the monetary aspect. Now, Cheryl Goley is from NatWest Bank. And before you say anything, Shirley, I really have to thank you for your invaluable support across the years to this competition. And it's really lovely to have you with us today, showing how much there was talk about collaboration earlier, that collaboration between yourselves and the Enterprise Troopers. Just tell us a little bit about your involvement and what stands out from your point of view as a judge.
Oh, thank you, Glenda, and good afternoon, everyone. So as Glenda said, I've worked for NatWest. I've worked for NatWest for 22 years now, with the last 10 years being in the field of youth enterprise and gender. So NatWest Cymru and myself have been involved with Enterprise Troopers for, gosh, it is 10 years. At NatWest, we encourage a more entrepreneurial culture, so from the classroom to the boardroom, and we're really passionate about inspiring and enabling enterprise at such a young age. Children are like sponges and they're fearless, and that certainly comes out throughout the competition. So it's really important for us that we're able to encourage them to explore enterprise at such a young age. We have a strong history at NatWest of working with businesses, schools, colleges and universities to develop and unlock talent. And like the Enterprise Troopers competition, we are really passionate about supporting young people with the skills that will allow them to flourish later in life. Whether that's working for a bank or a business, or indeed setting up in their own business. And we know, with COVID, as we come out of the pandemic, the world of work is changing, and encouraging young people to ensure they are able to develop that entrepreneurial mindset, so that growth mindset, is really, really important to give them the confidence, but also to give them resilience. And, throughout the years, of our involvement with Enterprise Troopers. If you speak to any of my colleagues, we say it's the best day of the year, especially the judging, because we're just blown away by the young people, the different ideas, the successes, but also when something's gone wrong, the young people just certainly show that, that, as I said, that, they're fearless. What stands out for me, so it's the passion, it's the teamwork, and it's communicating. As Chris has already said, there will be that leader within the team, but you can see them all come around together, and they've solved so many different ideas, creating that purpose-led, that social element, but also the confidence that comes out for young people. It was a few years ago now, so when we were face to face, we were in, can't remember where we were judging, but the young people, they had taken a stall at a council, and when I asked them how and why, how did you arrange it? Oh, we just phoned up the council. I was like, so what do they think when you're 7 years old phoning? And they just love it. They give them that empowerment to really make a difference and bring out that confidence. So we're really proud to be involved and continue our involvement for such a long time. And as I said, it's one of the best days for us as a bank to support the young people.
Brilliant. Yes, we all feel that it is really infectious, and I've got that from you as well, Cheryl, but diolch yn fawr I ti. Thanks for that, and it's great to have you with us on this call today. Now, judge number 3, but there's no pecking order. I daren't say that to my fellow Westie, Hywel Evans. Pnawn da, please tell us your experience and your examples.
Pnawn da, Glenda. Diolch I ti. Gret bod gyda chi. Yn sicr fydd ddim gobeith o fi byth yn bod yn wisg yr orsedd yn y Senedd neu unrhyw le arall. Sa'n gedi wy'n byth yn mynd i gyrraedd fyny. Dwi'n gyfarwyddwr gyda cwmni technoleg wybodaeth BCC IT, felly dydw i'n mynd athro yna bendant hefyd. A dwi wedi cael yr anrhydedd, a dwi wirioneddol yn meddwl fel anrhydedd o fod yn fodel rôl gyda syniadau mawr Cymru. Dwi'n falch iawn o ddweud bod fi'n model, achos sy'n chance o fi'n cael gweud mewn unrhyw cyd-destun arall. A hefyd yn feirniad, fel wyt ti wedi sôn, gyda y criw mentrus dros nifer y blynyddoedd yn awr. A dwi'n sicr yn un o'r bobl ffodus na sydd yn cael gymaint yn ôl o wneud fa llawer iawn mwy yn ôl o wneud nad dwi'n rhoi i'r plant a phobl ifanc dwi'n teimlo. Fel mae Chris wedi sôn yn gynharach, dros y blynyddoedd o wneud dwi wedi gweld y peth yn esblygu cryn dipyn o, falle ar y dechrau pan ni'n wneud y sesiynau model rôl, o'n i'n siarad am mentergarwch a meddwl yn y fath cyd-destun hynny, ond erbyn hyn dwi'n credu bod gymaint yn byddu cynyddu hyder plant a phobl ifanc ag yw am mentergarwch yn sylfaenol, a hynny byth yn mwy gwir na gyda'r criw mentrus dwi'n credu, yn plant yr oedran cynradd na. Sa'n credu bod gosod unrhyw feddylfryd mentergarwch rili yn rhywbeth all unrhyw un wneud, mae mwy ymdatblygu hyder y plant a phobl ifanc, a maen nhw wedyn yn ffindio'r hyder hynny a mynd ar hyd y trywydd maen nhw mwyaf priodol iddyn nhw yn bywyd, dwi'n teimlo. A dyna dwi'n credu mae'r criw mentrus yn ei wneud. Y profiad bythgofiadwy i fi o wneud oedd bod lawr yn digwydd bod yn prif feirniad yn yr rownd derfynol yng Nghaerdydd, a sefyll ar y lantern yn siarad gyda'r gynulleidfa dystanerchiad byr ar y diwedd, a fi'n credu bydden ni gyd yn cyfaddus im un o'n i'n hoffi gwneud hynny mewn gwirionedd. Mae'n mwy o nerfs yna i na beth bydd ar y plant. Ond nes i ddweud rhywbeth ar hyd y trywydd o mewn blynydde, falle bydd yr hyder ddim beth yw heddi, fel mae bywyd erbyn hyn, mae llawer iawn am bobl ifanc ni yn dioddau gyda problemau iechyd meddwl a pryder ag ati yn ei arddegau. A nes i sôn, cofiwch pan fydd hynny'n digwydd i chi, os fydd hynny'n digwydd i chi, bod chi wedi sefyll fan hyn heddi a siarad gyda lwmpyn mawr 6 troedfedd fel fi anghyd feirniad, a dim problem hyder gyda chi o gwbl. A wrth ddweud hynny, nath y gynulleidfa ymateb, ond fi'n credu oedd e'n adseinio a oedd e jyst yn cryfhau fel o'n i'n teimlo am y peth, a gobeithio bod dyfodol disglair i'r peth, achos dwi'n wirioneddol yn meddwl bod pethau fel hyn sydd tu allan i'r dosbarth os lici di, yn dod ar ychydig wahanol profiad bywyd go iawn I blant o bobl ifanc, yn ifanc iawn yn ei amser yn addysg. A wirioneddol gobeithio bod yn rhan ohono fe am sawl blwyddyn I ddod.
Diolch yn fawr iawn I ti am fod mor onest fanna, Hywel, a dwi wedi cael y fraint o weld chi gyd yn beirniadu, o glywed Chris yn cadeirio, yn fod yn MC ac yn arwen pawb drwy'r gystadleuaeth. A mae'r cydweithio a'r egni cadarnhaol sy'n digwydd yn ystod y gystadleuaeth yn wefreiddiol. A dwi bob amser yn dod off o ti a fi ar y sgrin llynau a Chris yn cadw trefn arna ni. Ac o'n i wedi cael yn gwefreiddio'n llwyr, achos o'n I hefyd wedi gweld sut oedd yr ysgol wedi medru addasu I wneud y gystadleuaeth ar-lein. Nid ar chwarae bach oedd hynna, ond y plant bach a bob oedran yn fodlon siarad â ni a sgwrsio gyda ni. Oedd e'n brofiad amheithyn iawn os gai ddweud. Now, there is an opportunity for you again to talk to any of our panel members, because we've got a little section now for a Q&A. Please don't be quiet. But whilst you think of a question, you'll be glad to know it's not just the judges and the MCs who are with us this afternoon. We have got two of your colleagues, and those wonderful little videos from Raglan and Heidi Hoosen, who gave us that inspiration last year. We've got the teachers with us, and therefore I'll ask them one or two questions while you get going. So please ask us a question via chat. You don't have to ask it verbally, but I'm going to keep an eye on that chat button. Ond reit, gai nawr. Dyma ni, Esther ag Angie. Chi gyda ni? Esther, gai gychwyn efo ti os gweli di'n dda. A diolch yn fawr I ti. Ti wedi bod gyda ni ers 5 pnawn yma. Da ni'n gwerthfawrogi dy amser di. Dwi ti tho ni, sut brofiad yw I fod yn rhan o hyn? A felly, pam, achos mae gymaint o bethau dych chi ar y gweill drwy'r amser, pam I chi'n hoffi bod yn rhan ohono fe?
Prynhawn da. Wel, oedd o'n brofiad anhygoel I disgyblion. Cafodd y disgyblion gyfle I greu busnes eu hunain drwy gydweithio'n effeithiol, defnyddio sgiliau ymchwilio, a dehongli a bod yn feddylwyr ifanc mentrus sydd yn arbennig, a datblygu sgiliau creadigol hefyd. Roedd I yn adeg anodd I bawb yn ganol y pandemig, ac felly roedd y disgyblion di mynd ati I greu dalwyr yr hael, I roed mewn ffenestri fel gobaith, fel symbol o obaith. A oedd yn syniad bendigedig gan y disgyblion, ac hefyd maen nhw wedi datblygu sgiliau digidol, drwy fynd ati I ddefnyddio iMovie i'r gystadleuaeth, a hefyd creu clipiau byr i'r disgyblion eraill yn yr ysgolion ar sut I fynd ati I greu y dalwyr yr hael, sydd y cynnyrch nhw. Ac mae di agor nifer o brofiadau i'r plant, ac mae wedi cael effaith gadarnhaol arnynt yn bendant. Ond pam nathon ni fynd ati I gymryd rhan fwy na dim byd oedd I roi cyfle iddyn nhw I ysbrydoli'r disgyblion drwy roi cyfleoedd a profiadau ychwanegol i'r disgyblion. Gan bod y pandemig wedi bod yn heriol I bawb, roedd I yn bwysig yn ysgol Heidi Hoosen I hybu'r hyder yma ac I a lles y disgyblion hefyd ac I roed amrywiaeth o brofiadau a rhoi sgiliau pwysig iddyn nhw mewn bywyd, megis sgiliau, datblygu sgiliau iechyd a lles, sgiliau iaith a lleferydd, a hybu'r Gymraeg ymhellach, ac roedd y meysydd dysgu yn cael ei taro'n wych yn hyn, ac wrth gymryd rhan yn y gystadleuaeth, ac felly mae'n gyfle da I gymryd rhan.
A ti wedi taro rhywbeth fyna, Esther. Ydy mae'r holl agweddau'r meysydd dysgu yn dod allan yn sgil y profiad, yn dywe? O beth tarodd fi llynedd yn arbennig oedd bod yr elfen lles a bod pobl mor wedi bod trwy'r profiad a nifer gwewyr y 19 mis 2 flynedd ddiwetha yma, bod nhw wedi defnyddio hwnnw fel rhyw fath o ysbrydoliaeth, ac yn amlwg hwnna tu ôl eich syniad chi yn doedd?
Oedd yn bendant, y disgyblion nath ddod fyny hefo'r syniad, achos oedden nhw'n meddwl beth nhw wedi bod trwyddo ac beth oedden nhw'n meddwl am eu cymuned hefyd, a dwi'n meddwl hwnna di'r agwedd nesaf sy'n ni'n licio gwneud hefo'r criw mentrus ydy dod ar gymuned yn agosach eto a mynd ymhell o gyrion yr ysgol.
Fel dwedodd y plant ar y ffilm na.
Ie, yn bendant.
A mae rhaid gwrando arnyn nhw, does? O, diolch i ti, Esther. Angie, I'd like to come over to you now, because I remember judging you last year, and then talking about the Christmas fair. You weren't going to stop, were you, whatever the situation was? So tell us about, you know, why you did what you did and what that entailed.
So we did a Christmas fair for a couple of years in a row, and it became a yearly event in the community, and we'd open up the hall and we'd have our own sort of Christmas market with all the products the children had made, and then the community could come in and purchase, you know, whatever they wanted. So then after all the events last year, we were thinking, oh, how on earth can we do it, because we can't open the hall up, we can't invite people to come back in. But the children were still really keen, and the staff were still really keen to do it. It was a sense of normality. It was a chance for us to work together, to do one project as a school. And the thing we love about Enterprise Troopers is we can hit all of the AOLEs through it, through marketing and through data research and all sorts of things that we do. You know, they create the boxes the things go in, they create the advertisements, they do digital advertisements as well, so it's hitting DCF, and it's just such an authentic learning experience where the whole school is all working as one. So we just were thinking, how can we overcome all of the difficulties? And initially we got all the staff together. I mean, kind of, you know, what's your area of expertise, what can you help us with? And it went from there. So we did an online catalogue using Adobe Spark, and we made an online order form using Google Forms. So the children got to really build on their digital skills by doing all of these things. And we did the whole thing remotely. And then the parents put their orders in. And then we went around and we bagged up what the orders were, quarantined it all 72 hours before we could send it all home. So we stuck to the COVID guidelines at the time, and we're not going to stop. We were just going to carry on going. And you can see from the video, the children just absolutely adore it. I always want to know, what's the next thing we're going to do? What's the next thing we're going to do? And we recently, you know, we did raise some money from it, which was a bonus. And we've recently spent all of our money from the past 2 years. We put it all together. And we've had our yards repainted with lots and lots of online, outside games and things for playtimes for the children across the school. So yes, and then they've seen the reward of their hard work.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Angie. They can see that they made that investment, and they've, you know, got a positive impact away from it. And if I remember rightly, they dressed up in their Christmas gear, didn't they, for their interviews last year?
They came in July in their Christmas jumpers. They were boiling.
Yeah. But again, their vibrancy and enthusiasm was shining through every single part of their presentation, and the way everybody adapted to that. So I'm telling everybody, please ask your questions. I have got a question here. What is each judge's top tip? But I'm not going to include the teachers. So I'm going to start with judge's top tip. Hywel Evans.
Ooh, tough one, anodd. Timing, I suppose, is the critical thing. It's difficult, isn't it? You know, one pupil will be happy to talk, and another one will be very, very shy. So actually trying to wrap the timing with when you don't know how long a pupil is going to take to get their point across. That's during the presentation stage. So yeah, if you're presenting, I'd say timing, but in the preparation, I suppose back to that thing of confidence again, isn't it? Find a means by which you can draw the best out of every pupil by instilling a bit of confidence, because yeah, it isn't easy. So, you know, pairing, I suppose, is one way to do it. Pick someone who's good at being confident with someone who's very shy, and then hopefully they balance each other out. But hey, what am I? I'm only a judge, I'm not a teacher. I wouldn't have a clue.
Oh, diolch Hywel. And timing, now somebody who's so used to doing live presenting. Chris Jones, is timing your tip?
Well, yeah, absolutely. With regards to the actual idea itself, I would just reiterate that this is an entrepreneurial competition at the end of the day. So the more entrepreneurial, the better, I suppose, because at the end of the day, the idea is the thing. But presentation-wise, as Hywel says, timing, confidence, but for me, inclusivity as well. that everyone needs to be part of it, and you can actually see that they've all taken part, for me personally. But certainly an entrepreneurial spirit, message, ethos is key, really, at the end of the day.
And you do pick that inclusivity up, even if they're not all talking. You know if it is a team effort, don't you, Chris? And I know the way you've spoken to them, it does come through, and you know when they've really worked well as a team, even when they've had their differences, and that honesty sometimes is interesting. Cheryl, from your point of view, top tip?
So from an ideas point of view is really making sure that the children choose the idea. In business, when you've got that passion, it will really succeed, and that makes a huge difference. And then have a plan and stick to it. So going back to that timing point.
Great, thank you, Cheryl. Cyngor pennaf i wrth ti, Esther?
Dwi'n meddwl swn i'n deud llais y plentyn yn bendant. Mynd hefo be mae'r plentyn yn ddweud o fewn rheswm, ond i hefyd i mwynhau'r profiad.
Ie, a mae hwnna'n cael ei gyfleu drosodd a drosodd. Mae o fel adlewyrchiad. Da ti'n teimlo'r mwynhad na, sy'n gwneud i ni gyd mwynhau hefyd. Gwych. And last but not least, Angie, your top tip.
Is that me then? Sorry.
It was,
I missed
Angie.
that last bit. So I would say two things really. The first thing, just embrace it, go with it, and we dedicate a week, 2 weeks just where every single thing we're doing, every curriculum area is just based around enterprise, and it's a whole school, whole project. We just completely immerse ourselves in it, which is really lovely because the excitement when they come in is just great. And the second thing is to make a product that you can make on a production line, so they don't get attached to them, because we often find that they want their mums and dads to buy their product, and that can be that's not really the sort of enterprise way really. So we try to encourage them, rather than making one whole thing, to have a little production line going, or to make multiple products so we don't get that issue.
Thank you, Angie, and for you and Esther again. I mean, we're in awe what you do, and the brilliant thing about this, it does fit into everything else that you've talked about with your areas of learning and all of that. It's part and parcel of the same thing. It's not an add-on, but with a new curriculum and everything that's happening, you can feel it's really complementing all of that and going hand in glove with that. On that note, we're going to show you a little animation now. Ffilm sydd yn Gymraeg, ond mae yna is-deitle Saesneg arni hi. A gwiliwch yn ofalus, achos mae'n sôn am gystadleuaeth eleni. Felly, Adam, os yw'r fideo yn barod gyda ti, gawn ni ddangos yr animeiddiad.
Mae'r criw mentrus yn chwilio am ysgolion mwyaf mentrus Cymru. O gynnyrch catref i gwmnïau ffilm, rydyn ni wedi gweld y cyfan. Mae cymryd rhan yng nghystadleuaeth y criw mentrus yn rhoi cyfle i blant ysgol gynradd ledled Cymru ddatblygu sgiliau entrepreneuraidd fel gwaith tîm, llythrennedd a rhifedd mewn ffordd hwyliog a rhyngweithiol. Mae hefyd yn datblygu uchelgais, menter, creadigrwydd a masnachu moesegol, gan gefnogi 4 diben y cwricwlwm newydd yng Nghymru. Mae ceisiadau nawr ar agor ar gyfer eleni, a dyma'r dyddiadau allweddol sydd angen gwybod amdanynt. Unwaith y byddwch yn cofrestru ac yn dechrau'ch cais, byddwn yn e-bostio eich pecyn mynediad ynghyd â bythodyn digidol a thystysgrif atoch, ar gyfer ei hargraffu a'i harddangos gyda balchder. Os ydych yn anfon llun atom, fel rhan o'ch cais, byddwn yn ei ychwanegu at ein oriel ysgol fentrus ar wefan y criw mentrus, ac fe fyddwch yn cael eich cynnwys yn awtomatig yn ein raffl fisol, felly efallai byddwch hyd yn oed yn un o'r enillwyr lwcus. Yng nghyswllt pob rownd o'r gystadleuaeth, bydd beirniad yn dewis yr enillwyr, rhai yn yr ail tafle, ac mae gwobre arbennig i ysgolion ei hennill hefyd. Ydych chi'n meddwl bod gan eich ysgol yr hyn sydd ei angen? Ewch draw i ycrewmentrus.com i ddarganfod rhagor a chael mynediad i ystod eang a adnoddau yn ymwneud â'r cwricwlwm newydd i Gymru. Felly pam yr oedi? Rhowch gynnig arni heddiw.
Glenda, you're on mute.
Diolch, Chris. I thought I would gonna...
I thought who would be the first to tell you, but I thought
Oh, diolch. Mae'n ddrwg gen i bawb, mae'n ddrwg gen i wir. O'n i ddim yn sylweddoli mod i mudo fy hunan. Ond beth bynnag, roedd yr ffilm bach na'n dweud, ewch draw at y wefan nawr, ewch draw at y wefan heddiw, a beth na'i ddweud am yr ailwaith, oherwydd mae gyda ni newyddion i chi. A'r rhain o chi sydd wedi ymuno ni heddiw sy'n cael y wybodaeth gyntaf, mae'r rownd gynderfynol a rownd derfynol, mae'r dyddiadau wedi cael eu pennu ar gyfer eleni. So we've just been able to announce the dates for the semi-finals and the final for this year. I've written them down, so I hope I'm not on mute now. Friday the 17th of June will be the 2 semi-finals. It will be online again this year. In discussions with schools, the team who are setting up all this have come to a decision. It will be an online event again this year. And the grand final, Wednesday, the 6th of July, that is the final day. Apologies for being on mute. That's what my husband dreams about, that I'm on mute more of the time. Ond beth bynnag, mae'n pnawn ni yn dod i ben. Nawr, Tom Roberts, wnaethoch chi ofyn am syniadau newydd, a syniadau rhywbeth nag ych chi wedi cael o'r blaen. Fi'n gobeithio bod chi wedi cael eich digoni. But on that Big Ideas World's website and the Enterprise Troopers website, as well as the Careers Wales website, make sure you access those resources and toolkits to help you in your day-to-day roles. We're so grateful for you for attending this afternoon. We do appreciate how challenging it is, but it's so good to have had you join us this afternoon. Go for it, try those competitions, and we really look forward to seeing those results. Now, before we go, we're going to put a little Menti link. So if those of you who are hearing me now, I'm not on mute, click onto that Menti link, everybody. And if there's a word that comes to mind, which sums up this afternoon session, rhowch e fewn. Rhowch rhyw air neu ddau yn y Menti yna i grisialu sut chi'n teimlo heddi. Just i ni gael blas o sut mae'r pnawn yma wedi mynd i chi, os chi dal ar y sgrin gyda ni. There will be a word cloud forming if you put some words into that Menti link and see what you've got to say about today's event. And then we'd like to signpost you to the event box link as well for evaluation. So are there words coming through? Oh, it's quiet on the Western Front today. Oes na air neu ddau? Is there a word or two coming through from people clicking onto that link? Oh. Inclusive, exciting, inspirational, and there are more words. So informative, thank you. Inclusive, inspired, inspirational. I can live with those words for the rest of the afternoon. So informative. Diolch yn fawr. Whole school, yes, all of these are really, really vital. These are the words to me, and I'm sure with Cheryl, Chris, and Hywel as well, and hopefully Esther and Angie, yes, I'm sure you'd agree that these are the words that makes enterprise activities worthwhile. I'm seeing it's a bit small on my screen. Great project. It is all great stuff. It's about optimism. It's about looking to the future and equipping these young people with those skills and experiences, like we've heard, to take them further. That word cloud is growing as I speak, and I love it. And we will make sure that we capture that. All of this will be captured after today and will be on Eventbox for you to look at again. And thank you. Diolch yn fawr iawn i chi. Diolch yn fawr iawn am y mewnbwn I gyd. Fi'n gwerthfawrogi pob peth. Well, we are coming to the last minute. I'm not going to fill this screen for another minute just to be on screen until 17:15. Ond gyda hynna o eiriau felly, dwi am ddymuno pas capus iawn iawn I chi gyd, a diolch yn fod yma. Thank you, all of you, for your presence this afternoon. And may I be maybe one of the first to wish you all a happy Easter. And those teachers who are here, have a great holiday when it comes. Diolch yn fawr iawn I chi gyd.